Welcome back to Unpack with HTECH, where we sit down with business owners and industry experts to unpack what makes their business unique, answer the questions customers ask most often, and share the knowledge that helps people make informed decisions. In the studio, we have Mike Fahey, owner of On My Way Towing. Mike, thank you so much for being here today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Let's start with your story. How did On My Way Towing get started, and what made you want to build a towing business here in North Idaho?
Well, I've always been associated with businesses that were service-oriented. When we were looking into starting a tow company, we saw a need, and we were trying to fill the need, and just researching other tow companies here and talking with friends that own tow companies and what customers were looking for, and we thought we could, add to that and excel on that. So here we are.
Here you are. You made it. When people hear towing company, they usually picture a broken down car on the side of the road. What are some of the different situations you actually get called out for?
Well, we get called out for all sorts of stuff. So cars just stuck on the side of the road where they broke down, or a car slides off in the ice into the ditch or over a bank, flat tires. Some cars die and they need to be jump started. Some of the biggest concerns I guess I see is a lot of folks go through their roadside assistance insurance cards and such to call for towing, and that works out great a lot of times because it's paid for. They don't have any money going out of their pocket, but sometimes they're waiting a long time for tows because a lot of these roadside assistance companies are third-party companies, and they're not from here, and they're searching around trying to find the cheapest tow company no matter how long it takes to get there. So sometimes people get frustrated and they'll call tow companies directly, and it's a lot quicker response time usually, and better customer service and all that good stuff.
That's good to know.
So I mean, if they're stuck out there in the heat or the cold for hours on end, we've gone to those. We show up. It's like we've been waiting for a tow truck for 6 hours. In 100-degree weather, and they got a dog or a kid, and so it definitely helps to be prepared, but sometimes it helps to just call a tow company directly for a quicker response, for sure.
North Idaho has everything from city streets to rural roads, snow, mountains, ditches, and some pretty challenging terrain. How does working in this area shape the kind of towing and recovery work you do?
Well, I think because we're local, we know most of these areas, and we can plan for that when we show up, on our way there. We know what we're getting into a lot of the times, where a company from out of state or one of these national organizations might not know the area specifically, and they might send the wrong truck or the wrong kind of equipment, and then it just adds to the time. I mean, they have to bring another truck or go get different equipment, and I think that helps to call a local company if you can and get the ball rolling and get you out safely.
Yeah, I definitely want to be out as quick as I can. So
Yeah,
that's
for
good
sure.
to know. When someone is stranded on the side of the road, they may not know whether they need a tow yet. How do you determine what kind of help they need?
Well, the first questions we ask is about their vehicle. What vehicle do you have? Year, make, model. So it helps to know that. Some people, go blank on that question, but know what you have, know where you're at before you break down. And that helps a lot, especially on these county roads or out in the woods. If you can pay attention to where exactly you're at, that helps a lot, because we've spent a lot of time searching for cars because people weren't quite sure where they were. They left their car and walked to get out, and like, well, I was down this way, I think. And so it helps to know exactly where you're at. And just if they're safe, I mean, do we need other resources to get there? We've had to call search and rescue before to help out folks. And so those are probably the three big things. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What are some roadside situations where you can get someone back on the road without ever having to tow their vehicle?
Oh, tire changes, jump starts, if people get locked out at the grocery store or whatnot, especially if it's hot out and they got all their groceries sitting there. Fuel delivery, we can deliver fuel if you're out of gas. It's usually a small quantity, 2 to 5 gallons, but get you to a gas station anyways. For the most part, though, I mean, if it's a mechanical issue, we're not on the side of the road, diagnosing and fixing your car for the most part. If it's that technical, then we'll tow you to a shop for sure.
Vehicle recovery can look pretty intense from the outside. When you arrive at something like a car in a ditch, mud, snow, or difficult terrain, what goes into safely figuring out how to recover it?
Well, first you're looking at the customer's safety. Are they safe, hurt, anything like that? Then our driver safety for sure. And, just do you have the proper equipment to do it? I mean, we've called on other companies to come help. Sometimes you have to call on a bigger company that helps because they have the big equipment for big recoveries and such. We're mostly light duty. Just knowing the terrain, where you're at, the weather, trying not to do any more damage than necessary to retrieve the car. So that's kind of what we're looking at when we're, especially up in the hills.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for sharing. You're a family-owned and local business. How does that influence the way you approach customers and the experience you want people to have when they call you?
Well, I would hope all tow companies would treat people with respect, but that's what we really try and do, and treat them how we would want to be treated. Kind of our slogan is, the difference is we care. We just really try and give good customer service and understand their situation. Accidents happen, and we know that, and we try and help out the best we can. Try and go above and beyond if we're able to, for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like you kind of can help settle people in an uncertain circumstance.
Yeah, we can sometimes. Mm-hmm.
Most people don't think about choosing a tow company until they suddenly need one. What does someone look for when deciding who they can trust with their vehicle?
Well, I think local word of mouth. I mean, that goes back to the whole local thing. There's companies that have been here for years and years and years, and there's newer ones like us. And I feel that we're getting a good reputation, and a lot of word of mouth calls come in. I've always had a relationship with my tow company prior to us owning our own, and I think that just helps immensely.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I love that. You also work with property owners and impounded or unauthorized vehicles. Can you walk us through that side of the business and how your free property signage program works?
So we offer free signs for your parking lot at all the businesses, and we'll put them up, and that allows you per state code to impound a car immediately for any reason. So if somebody dumped a junk car in your parking lot, instead of stickering it for 24 or 48 hours, we're able to just come get it. And then we go through the disposal process, going off of state code, and what's proper, and it gets it out of your hair, and we deal with everything else. And there's never a cost to the property owner for towing or storage or anything. So it's completely free for the property owner. It just helps them out removing vehicles if needed, if they're illegally parked, unauthorized, abandoned, whatever the situation is.
Emergencies obviously don't stick to business hours. What does providing 24/7 service look like behind the scenes for your team?
Well, as with most companies, we have a driver on call at night. So they're in bed, sleep until the phone rings, usually if it's late at night. And, we try and assist most drivers at night that we can, but sometimes we're busy as well. And if the phone doesn't get answered, leaving a message would definitely help, and we can get back to you as soon as we can. But I would say at night, make sure, as the customer, make sure you're safe in a safe location, and keep your windows up, doors locked if you're on the side of the road at night, and wait for the authorities or the tow company to come get you.
Great, thank you. Because you're based here, you know the roads and communities you serve really well. Where do you think using a local towing company makes the biggest difference compared to calling a larger national or out-of-state provider? I know we kind of talked about this already.
Well, I think being local, I think your local tow companies are concerned about their reputation and their reviews locally, where an out-of-state company or national branded company might not be so much. They're just out there to get the job and get it done. They might not have the good customer service. And so I think that's really beneficial, that stick with somebody close to home, because they're going to be worried about their reputation for sure, and wanting to get you home and safely and being a good neighbor.
That's wonderful. Before we wrap up, what is the one thing you wish every driver knew before they ever found themselves stranded and needing roadside assistance or a tow?
Well, I think the biggest thing, knowing where you're at. I mean, if you're on I-90 somewhere, just knowing close to what mile marker you're on. We've had ones, what state you're in, make sure you know what state you're in. Are you northbound, southbound, eastbound, westbound? I mean, that all helps us. I mean, there's several miles between off ramps. So if you're heading westbound and you think you're going eastbound and we pass you, it might be several miles. We have to go out of the way to turn around and come back or whatnot. So know where you're at is a big thing. Being prepared for the cold weather, the heat, having water or blankets or such. We carry water with us most of the time, and in the wintertime we'll have hand warmers with us. Like I said earlier, people are sometimes waiting hours and hours and hours for a tow company. And if you're freezing cold or really hot, try and be prepared for that for sure. Those are probably the two big things, and just being safe. I mean, when you pull off the road, try to pull off to a safe location. Try not to pull your car off right up against a barrier or somewhere that makes it difficult to access for the tow truck, if you're able to. And watch for traffic. And if you get out of your car, when the tow truck arrives, make sure you get to the safe side of the car, away from traffic. It's best just to stay in your car. Keep your seatbelt on and let the tow driver come to you and give you instructions.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your expertise, Mike. Again, this was On My Way Towing, and thank you so much for listening to Unpack with HTECH.